Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we are on a map that I can't remember the name of it right now, but we have two players, SlicklikVik and Ubivator, and the map is Gecko Isle. That's the one. Now both players here going straight for the huge advantage that this map offers, and that is the strength of tidal. You can see in their first build, they literally have two tidals queued up with their metal extractors and then straight into factory. And both players choosing to do the exact same start here. Ubivator has gone Armada and Slick has gone Cortex. You're saying why tidal? Well, 25 strength tidal is amazing. And so it makes a huge sense to do it. Not only that, I was about to say that if they're further out, like here, hard to draw in the water, then they're not going to get raided either. So your your energy rather is very, very safe. On the shore, not quite so much, but you know, same principle. And both players also choosing to go bots here for the lack of metal need. So if you're not aware, bots use a lot less metal, but require more energy to make than vehicles which require more metal and less energy. So quite often on high metal maps, you'll notice that wind will generally be quite slow. And this is to try and make you choose going vehicles first, because you have all the metal when you don't have the energy. That's also why you'll see people go solars on metal maps, due to the fact that, you know, you may as well, because if the wind isn't very good and you've got loads of metal, you may as well invest that metal into energy. Now, straight off the bat here, there's a couple of res bots out for Slick. There's some clumps of metal around either side, and you can see him trying to get all of that. Ubivator has but a tick in opposition to these grunts, so they're not really going to get that much in the way of value here, as Slick is doing very well to micro these grunts and defend these units. Now, see comps here of 175, 175, pretty much all around the map. Anywhere you see these little rock guys that for some reason are like floating rock guys, but still, they're all over the place, and metal is a decent mixture between 1.7s and 2.5s. So plenty of metal to be had on this map. And we'll probably see, wouldn't surprise me if we end up seeing a transition over to vehicles at some point, maybe for a amphibious constructor to build more tidals, especially in Ubivator's position where he could build some here. And they'd be pretty well defended there. Unless your opponent builds like one sub to just go around and really mess with you, which could happen. It would not surprise me if we see that. Now, pawns showing their strengths versus grunts. They are now quicker than grunts. This has been a little while of this change so far, but they're quicker than grunts, so able to close that range required. And the range difference between a grunt and a pawn is now nowhere near as big as it used to be. It's 240 and 180. You can see that those range circles look pretty close to being the same. So for you to micro around is pretty difficult. Now, Ubivator there does manage to grab a constructor bot that was expanding for Slick. That's quite a big loss for Slick early game. To lose one of those cons requires quite a bit to get back up and running. Luckily enough, he does have res bots, which will go and resurrect that. And Ubivator here playing it safe and easily defending his con. Now, Ubivator was OS Pac-Man, which we saw recently on the channel. They like to change their name quite a bit. Ooh, Slick though, maybe with an opportunity here to get this con. Lose this con rather. Fights happening a little bit all over the place. They're just kind of posturing fights at this point, trying to get some value. This is quite a lot of metal now, though, that has been left on Ubivator's side. A whole 300. I say quite a lot. It's quite a lot for now. It's not quite a lot in general, but still. And the first advantage that we see that Armada has here is the addition of the Centurion to the unit roster of Armada. It makes it pretty difficult to bot against Armada bots, because you've basically got the choice of going thugs, basically, or rocket bots here versus Centurions. The only advantage you've got, really, is to go somewhere the Centurions aren't with this amount of grunts. And with how flat this map is, it's highly likely that a vehicle transition will also occur for that reason. There is some terrain, but considering most of the map is completely flat, it does make sense to go for those faster vehicles to be able to deal with any kind of raids or whatnot, or just quicker in the attacks. But Slick is doing a good job here at trying to apply pressure to Ubivator to try and keep him back. He's kind of got a lot of units here just posturing in the center. Oh, he is going on that Centurion as a distraction. He gets the Centurion, and then the grunts on this side here manage to make it past. Keeping the pressure on with these grunts means that the pawns can't go to react to the grunts that did make it through. Although some unfortunate micro from Slick does mean that he loses quite a lot of those, and these guys have only just started moving. And unfortunately for Slick, with 2 LLTs here, these guys are not really going to be able to get anything. You see, Ubivator actually selected that grunt first to make sure it didn't get past. LLT goes down. Oh, he goes after the resbot first, getting the resbot there. Denying this reclaim field for a little bit longer. And these guys are going to continue heading towards the base, which is also... Oh, or maybe not. They are. He's just set them on a fight move while he concentrates elsewhere. He tries to push a force up this hill like Slick. And although he does take out 1 LLT, I don't think he'll get the second one. Nope. And the force that was also outside the base gets cleaned up before too long as well. Now, the con that was expanding for Ubivator does manage to get killed. And just selecting the economy here, you can just see how much metal Ubivator has in the back right now. And he's unable to use it due to a lack of energy. And that is partially due to what we see here. Slick has decided to not use his con on the front line, and is using its build power to provide more and more energy in the way of tidals behind his base. Now, these are so close that if one does go, his entire energy production will go up with it as well. But still. And there is also the vehicle transition we spoke about as well. It's going to be a little while, I expect, before we see that muskrat, but still. Whereas Ubivator using his commander on the front line in an attempt to try and push as far forward as possible. But now grunts have pretty much seen the end of their use due to the Centurions. We'll see the incisors come out and maybe some brutes. With the amount of metal he's got, it doesn't surprise me that we see brutes. Armed metal extractors everywhere. Another advantage that Slick will have here. The expanding con does get killed, but still. The force mostly dies with a single pawn left. Resbot getting over there straight away, though, by Slick. Already ready to resurrect those forces. There are some metal extractors that Slick has been a bit slow getting, like all of the ones on this side. With only a single con going over there, it's taking quite a while. Whereas Ubivator with his commander going one way and cons going the other, it is making quite a big difference. Now, we do see some air transports with Centurions in tow So to get over the slow speed of the Centurions, Ubivator has invested into air here in an attempt to help get these Centurions to where they need to be quicker. He has let a huge force of units through on this left-hand side though, and that means he's picking those Centurions back up and repositioning them. This is good use of air transports. There's a lot of APM required in loading up stuff, moving Centurions, picking them up again, moving them again, which is why, you know, some of them did get left behind in that move there. And right now, Slick not doing too great with his micro here of this force. He's busy paying attention to this force on the right. Fighters are out, and this is the problem with transporting Centurions, is they are a big loss if you lose those air transports. Don't get me wrong, not the biggest loss in the world, but still a sizable chunk. And army value is currently advantage Ubivator, with 2 factories now kicking out units. We see still pawns and Centurions from 1. We see just a small selection of maces added. No, maces and pawns. Good front line held here by Slick for now. Slick does have quite a lot of metal in his bank, as we see here. As we look over here, we see 2 vehicle labs, although I don't know if this vehicle lab here is going to block his pathing. If he's just building incisors, he may be okay, but if he starts building brutes, I don't know if they're going to be able to get through this gap, to be honest. We'll see, I guess. Centurion's not making any pressure right now, and because of that, Slick is able to try and get in and just cause a bit more problems. Centurions finally make their march on that left-hand side. We'll try and keep both fights in the frame here. As Slick's just kind of retreating with this force, the Centurions up on the left with pawn support have managed to take out 2 metal extractors, and as that force retreats, we'll look over at these guys. There's this thing that the armed metal extractors are good, but at the same time, they're not tremendously good. Ooh, this constructor is very low health over there, hiding, hoping that it does not get detected. Oh, meanwhile, Ubivator is very close to this armed force of Slick. Slick losing a lot of units here. And army value is not looking good. He's losing... Oh, has completely not even contested air control here, with a tremendous amount of fighters. And I think he is expecting shurikens to come out here from SlicklikVik. Being Cortex, shurikens are one of your finest units when it comes to air, and especially against something like a Centurion. They are the perfect unit to build, but he's so far behind on air control here, it's going to be very unlikely that we see Slick go into shurikens. May have been a little bit too late to start building fighters now, as he actually builds some lashers here to try and contest some of the air as well. Oh, bombers also on their way out from Ubivator. If Ubivator does manage to hit the build power, that is not build power, the tidal generators, that's going to be huge. Now, we do see 2 pawns being dropped on the left-hand side here, which is pretty good. Oh, losing all of his red spots. Slick loses his res bots in the center. He has a single one left. I don't think these bombers were necessarily intended to be shown right now, as he pulls most of them back. And Ubivator's got so much to pay attention to that the Geo goes down on the left, whilst fighting also happens on the right. He's microing units up here, which do manage to get their job done. So far, killing 3 mexes whilst also fighting in the center. Just fighting going on everywhere. Ooh, but the pounders make good work of these maces as they just walk needlessly into the line of fire. And now, being completely surrounded, the maces fall very quickly. And in come shurikens. I was surprised that he built these, considering how behind he is on air. And he may be using it just purely to try and bait the fighter force of Ubivator. Oh, is this guy actually going to get somewhere, or is he going to get eaten? He gets eaten. Okay. Fighters fly over. No bombers, though, following up on this. That's a bit of a waste. Here come the bombers. Flying over the middle. Gunships as well. Only 3 bombers are left. Oh, they go for the Geo instead? No, what? Going for the metal extractor? What are you doing? There was more than 3 bombers, but getting a metal extractor and a couple of bits of build power. That was a very poor bombing run. Gunships attempt to come in here and try and get some value, but still. I say poor bombing run. He got 2 metal extractors, 2 solars, and 2 comm turrets. Wasn't terrible, but look at the amount of damage he could have done if he hit these up here. Huge. That's most of the energy production of SlicklikVik there. Army value is showing highly in Slick's favor, yet on the battlefield it looks like the units are just so spread out all over the place that I don't know if that's necessarily true. Ubivator's comm, though, in a potential troubling position, as his comm is basically trying to run away from this force of Slick. There are, you know, units moving down here to try and block the army of Slick's off. That has opened up the far left side, though, as pretty much all the entire units of Ubivator is on the right-hand side of the map. Tech to air transition from Ubivator. That's not what I expected. He's hoping that the Tech 2 gunships will be able to help him with this army. So bear in mind right now, Ubivator is not making any new land units. He has no land factory at all. He is only producing air. So every unit that he loses here is one less unit he has to defend. And Slick is churning out units. Look at this conga line of units coming from his base. A tremendous amount. He is up to 3 factories, 4 in total. And the swarm of units going across this battlefield in the center is something that Ubivator is going to struggle to deal with if he doesn't have a plan soon. He's trying to get Tech 2 economy up, but he's losing ground left and right here. He's hoping that the Tech 2 air will be enough to stop him. He's actually building an EMP bomber here to try and act as a bit of a force multiplier. But this is not looking good at all. Slick is preparing a substantial amount of fighters to try and counter the air that Ubivator is building. And there goes the EMP bomber. Does not hit the main task force, only hitting a couple of AA trucks, which was probably his intention. But does he have the fighters? It looks like he does, but with all of the attention focused on this left side, a stream of units is just making its way into Ubivator's base, and he has nothing to stop these walking right over the base. And that's going to be it. It doesn't matter if Ubivator has Tech 2 air right now. He does not have enough gunships here to be able to stop all of this damage. Desperately trying to rush to get beamers up, but he started losing build power now. And as soon as that fusion goes, there we see he is going to start struggling for E. We can see, look at how quickly that E was going down. And that's it.
Commander self-destructed.
Ubivator made a very risky choice there. His plan, I guess his thinking was...
Battle ended.
If I get Tech 2 air up, I can get my Tech 2 mexes across this map built up quicker. And my opponent has very little in the way of air superiority, so I might be able to win. But because of that choice, he basically gave up full control of the ground. And with that, lost the ground. And even with a significant less amount of units, we see SlicklikVik ended up winning the game. So very well played, both players. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Don't forget to hit subscribe and all that jazz, and I'll see you next time.